Mayan Matchmakers, Part 1, by Bobby Grace. There have been some unusual goings-on in the neighborhood lately. I suppose I should be getting used to it by now, but sweet baby Jesus on a grilled cheese sandwich, things just seem to get curioser and curiouser. I'm anchored in a Kekchi aldea on a jungle river. Aldea is the local word for village. A while back, the village decided I was welcome to stay. I'll save that story for another time. For now, I'll just say the village decides whether or not a person gets to stay here. There are no formal meetings about it, no citizenship applications, no green card checks. They just decide. I guess the village decided they needed a gringo guitar banger, and apparently the village women decided that a gringo guitar banger ought to have a wife. Emphasis on the second syllable. Now let me point out that I am rather fond of the company of women. Since I've been here in the jungle, I've kept company with a few visiting gringas, brave enough and tough enough to endure the 2 days of travel from the airport to get here to my patch of jungle for a visit, and the 2 days of travel to get back out. One of them, I was advised by my new sister, Elizabeth, Carlos' esposa, her face wearing an expression of earnest concern, would not be a good woman for me. She didn't even help bail my launcher. The second gringa stepped easily into the ways of the aldea, making some big bonus points in the eyes of the village women by washing my back when we bathed together in the river. Elizabeth advised that she would probably turn out to be a good woman with some help, but cautioned me that she would probably cost a lot. Single drawn-out syllable, increasing in pitch and decreasing in volume at the end. Most recently, I kept company for a month and a day with a 25-year-old gringa musician who was backpacking through. I'm not sure if that conveyed some stamp of virility upon me, or the village women just decided that if their gringo was ever going to find a good woman to make a wife out of, the poor bastard is going to need their help. Second syllable slightly inflected. Emphasis on second syllable, no inflection. And sweet Jesus in a drop-top Cadillac have they been dedicated and enthusiastic with their help, an estrogen tsunami. 8 days after the young Chica Musica departed, I began receiving invitations to meet daughters and sisters, somebody's best friend, getting the picture. I've never been comfortable on first dates, blind dates, or sitting through someone's audition. Add the language barrier. Same grunt, lips closed. Sometimes life here is Monty Python in the jungle. Last Saturday, one friend's wife, she's my age, presented her daughter to me. That afternoon, another friend's wife, mid-20s, brought her best friend from school all the way upriver to meet the gringo. I've been on more blind dates than Ray Charles, all appropriately chaperoned by the common friends or family members, of course. The girl and I could probably slip off together if we really wanted to, but hell, a guy's got to be careful. One wrong grunt in a moment of ecstasy, and my days with the Chechi might come to an abrupt end. There was nothing that prepared my first-world mind for this. True dat, esta verdad. I can't know all the mysteries and motives behind the machinations of women in the aldea or anywhere else for that matter. It might be as simple as the grand humour of mischievous mujeres saying, "Hey, let's grab Maria and go mess with the gringo." I always say yes to these invitations, though. I say yes because here on the frontier, where words are fewer, actions weigh heavier in the evaluation of a man. I say yes because I am aware that these machinations are a demonstration of acceptance. I say yes to return the honour and respect offered to me in the invitation. And I say yes because, let's face it, the women here are both beautiful and capable, and a guy never knows when he's going to stumble across a unicorn. Unicorns are out there. I know because I had one for a while. Some evenings when I'm kicking back on my cabin top watching the sunset and the laughter of aldea women floats across the laguna, I imagine they are bent over a penny betting sheet, calculating odds on the gringo and scheming maniacally. Las vías de las mujeres son siempre misterioso. The ways of women are forever mysterious. So what does one do on a cross-cultural blind date? Turns out, you spend a lot of time staring off and trying to gin up some kind of conversation out of a meager vocabulary. Whistling to oneself, I've been told, is an acceptable way for a man to spend some of this time. I've never tried it, though. One of the things a man my age knows is that women like men to listen to them, Turns out they don't even care if a guy shares a common language, as long as you're paying attention to them. The trick that seems to work for me is to figure out what language I should look like I'm listening in, then follow the 86% rule. The 86% rule, for those of you who don't already know it, employs a lot of smiling and nodding as conversational propellant. I've found it an effective social ploy in many languages, and one that generally runs smoothly when lubricated with alcohol. A study done in the 1970s concluded that 86% of all conversation, regardless of language, is statement of fact or opinion that simply requires a positive response to reinforce the speaker and support the continuance of the conversation. It really doesn't matter what folks are talking about. If you just smile and nod, you'll be sending the right response 86% of time. That's the 86% rule. In the submarine force, we called this appearing to give a shit. I do it a lot when I am facing the estrogen-fueled matchmaking machine. Not that I don't give a shit about what the girls are talking about, but I usually don't have the language skills to know what I'm supposed to be giving a shit about. So I work the 86% rule, sometimes with an unintended outcome. A week or so ago, I was sitting through the audition of a somewhere around 30-year-old girl, her agent women, and entourage of children. We were meeting at a bar called the Jake Break Saloon. It's a gringo mecca for bad attitudes, bad prostates, and bad decisions. Nice poolside patio, though. That's where I was, switching between staring off and smiling and nodding. Mostly smiling and nodding. A guy gives a woman room to talk and a bit of reinforcing body language. She'll handle the whole conversation all by herself. All the guy has to do then is ride along with his elbow out the window, smiling and nodding. Maybe grunt reinforcingly from time to time. I had a bit of experience under my belt with the Matchmakers by this time, as well as several gin and tonics. I was enjoying the sales presentation. I hadn't said anything stupid as far as I could tell. They weren't eating much, so I could probably cover the tab when we left. I wasn't too worried about it. The girls at the Jake Break would have trusted me to cover the tab the next time I'm in town. None of the agent women drink alcohol at these parleys, even if they would normally. What they mostly do is stare at me with either a serious or expectant expression on their faces. So there we are. The girl is talking, the women are staring. I'm blissfully smiling and nodding along when suddenly, de repente, as they say here, her eyebrows shot to the top of her head, which looked, from where I was sipping my drink, smiling and nodding, to be a joyful expression. I cranked up the smile, punctuated it with a laugh. Gave a definitive positive nod. Stand back, Antonio Banderas. Suave, I thought. It wasn't. Somehow I'd stumbled into the other 14% of the conversational landscape. Rough terrain out there. There be dragons. A wee glitch in the 86% rule can throw a handful of sand into the finely tuned matchmaking machine, has been my experience. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't even know vaguely what happened, if you want to know the truth. Maybe she was telling me about the horribly slow and painful death of some loved one she lost, or was asking me my position on child molestation while I was carrying on like a happy, bobble-headed idiot. Don't know. Can't say. The girl and her entourage left rather abruptly after that. I hung around to finish my drink. I'm not sure what's supposed to happen with this process, but that probably wasn't it. I figure it works out for everybody, though. The girl and her family get a day out and a meal. I get to practice my language skills and learn the ways of people here. A day at the county fair for everybody, except for that one determined mother who was working me like a used car salesman with a low-mileage Buick.